Hey guys, so today I'm here with kind of a different video than what you're used to seeing on my channel. I'm gonna be getting a little personal, a little deep, and I felt compelled to make this video because more and more I really am starting to get this sense that my purpose here, especially with the platform that I have, is to help people to live better lives. And not only just, you know, for superficial things like doing your hair and makeup. Even though I like doing hair and makeup tutorials, I feel like I have a bit more to offer, especially knowing where I came from and knowing where I am now. It's such a huge leap. And I kind of touched on this a little bit in a vlog I did last year. I have changed so much, you guys. To put it simply, I was a hot mess. I was just a very angry person. I was very angry. I was very combative. I was always ready to fight. Like, that was me. So there are 9 major steps that I took to completely change my life and fix my life and to get to a place where I feel just happy, fulfilled, content. And this is like a major thing for me because even 5 years ago, I didn't see this as being a possibility, but especially when I was growing up, when I was going through childhood, when I was going through adolescence, early adulthood, never even imagined that my life could be this amazing. So yeah, I just want to share some things that have helped me, and hopefully they can help some of you guys out there, especially those of you that may be currently going through some of the things that I went through, and you may feel like there's no hope. You may feel like you don't know what to do to turn the course and to change things around. So I want to give you guys a little bit of a background on me because most of you don't know much about me at all, which is kind of crazy because I've been on YouTube for well over a decade. But yeah, I've really never really talked much about my background, but here goes. So growing up, I've always felt like an outsider. I have always felt like I was different in some way, and I couldn't put my finger on it, but I never felt like I fit in. And this was pretty much everywhere, and I never really talked about it. I never really said anything to anyone about it. It was just a feeling that I always carried around, and it was not anything that anyone was specifically doing. I just never felt like I fit in. And I'm a middle child too, so that might have played into it as well. Sometimes when you have like the oldest and the baby and you're in the middle, you kind of feel like lost in the sauce a little bit. On top of that, I grew up in a single parent household. I've actually never met my father, so I don't know how that could have affected me subconsciously. Growing up, I've always felt like that was a blessing because I don't like authority. So I felt like it was one less person to tell me what to do. But I feel like that probably did affect me growing up in ways that I don't even, like, I can't even put into words. And just from me going through life, sometimes even feeling invisible, like I was the kid that was just average. I didn't get into trouble and, you know, get attention that way. And then on the flip side, I didn't have like amazing talent. I wasn't extraordinarily pretty. I didn't have anything really going for me that made me stand out. So a lot of times I felt like I was just there and people really didn't pay me much mind. That probably led to the fact that the first guy that paid me any real attention, I latched onto. And as it turns out, my very first relationship was physically abusive. I'm laughing, y'all, but it's not a laughing matter. But I'm laughing because I've been through so many situations and so many scenarios that are just so outlandish and just chaotic and dysfunctional. And if I were to make a movie about my life, it would probably be a blockbuster because I have so many action scenes in there. On top of that, I have been betrayed and just done, like, people have done the most grimiest things imaginable to me. And I've always been someone, like, I know at my core, even when I was younger, I know I'm a decent person. I had seen so many things growing up where I was like, that is just not right. Like, why are people doing this? I've seen so many things. Some things I shouldn't have seen, some things I shouldn't have known about, especially at the age that I was. I'm starting to get like emotional. Let me take a minute. Hold on, y'all. Lord. But yeah, like I was saying, growing up, I seen things and I knew about things that just I knew wasn't right. And I always told myself I would never do something like that. I would never treat people this type of way or that type of way. And so when things started happening to me, like people would do some low down stuff that I wouldn't even wish on my worst enemy, I just could not understand. I could not reconcile it in my mind because I'm like, who does that? Who behaves this way? Who does this to someone? Especially when it came from people that I would never have thought it would come from, and from people who I would never thought that they would even have a reason to cross me, and they did. So as you can imagine, all of that shaped how I showed up in the world. It shaped how I viewed people. It shaped just how I interacted with people. And I feel like I just kind of shut down. I closed myself off to people. I was also a teen mom, so I had my daughter at a young age. And that, I'm not saying that that is a negative, because we all know how babies get here. That is the choice I made. I take full responsibility for that. It's just the circumstances surrounding that time period that were less than ideal. Parenthood can be challenging on its own, but coupled with the things that I was going through during that time period, sometimes I look back and I'm like, how did I even make it through? How did I even get up every day, put one foot in front of the other and keep it pushing? It's a miracle, right? So when I had my oldest child, my mom, she never kicked me out. She was supportive of me, but she did make it very clear in kind of a roundabout way that I couldn't just stay at home indefinitely with a baby. That was not her responsibility. I needed to figure something out. And I agreed 1,000%. I didn't even feel comfortable having a baby, and I felt like someone else's house now, even though that's the house I grew up in. I didn't feel comfortable with that situation because I knew that this was my responsibility. This is what I chose. So I got on my grind, y'all. I went to a temp agency. I got a job at a call center. And when my daughter was about 6 or 7 months old, we moved out. I got my own apartment. I found a daycare. I was going to school full-time, working full-time, waking up every day, getting us both ready, doing the daily tasks on my own. I was, whenever she was sick, taking her to the doctor, doing just, what moms do, right? Now that in itself can be a lot, especially on someone that was as young as I was. But where this got particularly stressful is the fact that I've always been a very prideful person. So when I moved out, I knew that I didn't want to rely on the government. I didn't want to rely on my family to make it. I wanted to prove to myself, and I wanted to prove to everyone else, that I wasn't a failure and that I was going to figure things out on my own. And so I didn't let ever going back home be an option for me. I didn't let ever asking anyone for even a penny. I didn't allow that to be an option for me because I didn't want to be a burden as well. I didn't want to impose any of my issues on other people. And I just wanted to be able to say that I did it. I didn't owe anyone. But that really brought a lot of pressure, and some of that was self-imposed because I really could have leaned on my family more, but again, I just didn't want to. But as you can imagine, things got very difficult at times. I'm kind of glossing over a lot of these specifics because I'm trying to keep it light. So I kept a lot of things bottled up. I didn't feel comfortable going to people, talking about my problems, anything like that. I just kept a lot of things to myself, and even my close friends, even my family. My mother knows some of the stuff that I went through, but she doesn't know half the stuff because most of the stuff I was just way too embarrassed to even talk about, or even I didn't want her to know that. So over the years, I just became a very angry person. I had so much inside bottled up, so many emotions bottled up, so many times where I really didn't feel like I had full control over my life, so many times where I felt people were just absolutely ridiculous. I felt like I couldn't trust anyone for real, and I became a very angry person. I was cold to people. I put up this wall because I didn't want anyone in, because I didn't want to be hurt again. And you can imagine going through life like that. It's not positive, it's not fulfilling, it's not happy. And I was like that for years, okay? For years, for a very, very long time. And I just thought, well, this is life. This is how it is. People are trash. And the only person I can really count on is myself. But we are not built to be islands. We are not built to be this way. And I knew I needed a change when there would be instances where I would react a certain way, or I would say a certain thing, and then later on I would replay it and I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I say that? This person didn't deserve that. Why am I treating them like this? So that was kind of like the catalyst that made me stop and think about my actions and what I was doing and how I was behaving and how my behavior affected other people. And I started to see that I actually had amazing people in my life who deserved to be treated that way. However, I wasn't used to being nice. I wasn't used to being loving and open because for so long I just felt like I had to put this tough exterior on so I could be protected. So now with that being said, that was a little bit of a lot. So with that being said, let me tell you guys what I did to turn my life around to get to a place where I am now, where life is fantastic, okay? Now these tips that I'm about to tell you guys are simple, but they're not necessarily easy, because to reprogram yourself, in a sense, to undo years of a certain pattern, to completely change that, it can sometimes be scary and difficult. So I'm not gonna say that this was the easiest thing, but it's definitely necessary to just help live a better life. So number one, you have to be committed to changing. If you know you're not happy in life, if you know that just things are not going the way that you want them to go, you wake up and you're dreading the day, you wake up and you're angry, then that probably means you need a life change. Now, if you clicked on this video, you probably recognize that a shift is necessary, or maybe you're just being nosy about how I changed my life. I don't know. But you have to recognize that a shift is necessary, and you have to be committed to actually following through to making changes. Overriding years of dysfunctional or negative patterns, it can be highly uncomfortable and just feel foreign, but you have to be committed to doing that, and you have to see it through. Tip number two is to audit yourself. Really sit down, take some time, sit down with yourself, figure out what your bad habits are, figure out what your negative traits are that are holding you back from certain goals or a certain life that you want to live, and write down ways that you can break them. For example, I'm going to use myself, right? When I meet someone new, usually, historically, I would just be like, oh, hey, hi. And that's it. Like, I wouldn't engage, I wouldn't make eye contact. And when I audited myself, I was like, that's not the nicest thing to do. That's not the best thing to do. So what can I do in my next interaction that I can be proud of? And I was like, okay, when I meet someone, I'm gonna look them in the eye, I'm gonna have a smile, I'm gonna be generally engaging. That was very uncomfortable for me. It kind of still is sometimes in certain situations, but it just made me feel better about myself, right? And then also I feel it made the other person feel better too. So that is the type of thing that I'm talking about. So do you always procrastinate? Are you flaky to your friends? Are you unreliable? Do you always cheat on your diet? Do you come across as rude or arrogant? Really sit down, take inventory of yourself, be completely honest, and write down those things that you are not proud of, that you would like to change. And then on the other side of it, write down ways that you can correct those behaviors. And auditing yourself and doing things to change those behaviors and replace them with new behaviors, it can be a scary thing sometimes, but changes to your life, I'm gonna tell y'all, it requires a personality shift. It requires you to almost become a different person, not like a completely different person, you're still who you are, but like the highest version of yourself. So what you want to do is figure out the type of person you want to be, and every single day work towards actually becoming that. Start walking like the person you want to be. Start talking like the person you want to be. Start dressing like the person you want to be. Start behaving like the person you want to be. Once you do that long enough, it'll start to sink in and it'll start to become second nature, and you will be amazed at the progress that you make just doing that. Another thing you can do is to emulate who you admire. So think about a person that you look up to. Think about a person that you think they have it all together. You think that they are the bee's knees. Think about that person and then really look into why you look up to them. What traits do they have? What attributes do they have? What kind of personality do they have? What is it that draws you to them? And try to take those traits and apply them to your own life. For instance, recently I went to a coffee shop. I don't drink coffee, but I went to a coffee shop to get some tea. But on my way out, I was walking out and there was an older gentleman in front of me and he held the door for me. And you know, that's like a common occurrence. But the thing that stood out to me the most about this whole situation was the fact that I felt like a warmth come from him. When I saw him holding the door open, I said thank you, of course. But what he did afterwards really stood out to me. He looked me in my eye, he gave me the warmest smile, and he was like, of course, no problem, have a great day. And the interaction was very, very brief, right? But it made such an impact on me because I could feel that he was genuine. I could feel that he was present. That stuck with me all day. Clearly it's still stuck with me because I can remember this and this happened weeks ago. But from that experience, I realized that I admired that about this person. I admired the fact that he seemed so genuine, just seemed so warm and caring, and you could tell it was coming from a good place. And I was like, I really want to try to infuse that type of, I don't know, sense within myself. How can I apply that to myself? And I just thought that was really, really cool. So you can do that with anyone that you look up to, anyone that you think is an extraordinary individual. What qualities do they possess? And see if you can, you know, take nuggets from people and apply them to your own life, and you will really, really start seeing the growth. Next tip is to take 100% ownership of your life. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to pick you up, hold you in their arms and stroke your hair and tell you that everything is going to be okay and in the background fix your life for you. Nobody's going to do that. Well, maybe some people will try to do that because there are some people that enable. Let me not get on a tangent. But anyway, in general, no one is going to fix your life for you. No excuses, no blaming other people for your circumstances. We all have issues that we have to deal with. We all have things in our past that we don't necessarily like. We all have traumas that we are trying to heal. Gotta stop blaming people. Sometimes people do really messed up things like, y'all, I know, okay? I've been through it. But once I learned to stop blaming them, once I learned to just take accountability for where I am currently, I just felt like a huge weight lift off of me. And I was carrying grudges, y'all, for years. It's not even funny. I was holding on to those grudges for dear life. But once I let them go, it's like life got more colorful. Life got more beautiful. Life got just, I felt like I could see again, y'all. And some people say, you know, you should forgive everyone in your past that has wronged you. You should forgive for yourself, not for others. I don't necessarily agree with you should forgive everyone or everything, because some things to me are just unforgivable. But the sentiment as a whole, I do agree with. You need to make peace with your past. You need to make peace with your bad decisions that you've made. You need to make peace with people that have done you wrong. You need to make peace with your current situation. You need to make peace with them so you can move on with your life. And I knew that I made peace with my past when I could look back on certain people that have done me wrong, and I'm like, well, what happened in their life that would cause them to react this way? What happened to them that would make them think that this type of behavior was okay? What traumas are they going through that nobody knows about? Because there's always a reason. Doesn't make it right, but just knowing that there's always a reason for why people do the things that they do, and being mindful of that, it really helps to put everything into perspective. And then you realize it's really not even personal. It's all about the other person. The best thing you can do is to go within, figure out what you truly want, not wait for someone to come by and tell you what to do, not to play the blame game. Oh, my life is like this because this. Okay, and now what? Now what are you gonna do? Okay, this is the reality of the situation. This is what happened. Okay, now what? Get out of a victim mindset. Abandon the victim mindset, the woe is me. That is no longer, okay? Rewrite the past, reframe the past. I've gone through so many tumultuous times, but what did I learn from it? Look for the positive in that. What did I learn from it? How did it help me to grow? Now I know what to look out for. I know red flags to look out for in people because of what I've gone through in the past. I know certain types of people to avoid, and that has really helped to propel me forward when I look for the positives in the situation, the lessons in the situations that I've gone through. Next tip is to maintain a positive mindset. Now, of course, life is not rainbows and sunshine all the time. It would be crazy to think that no one would have bad days or bad moments, but overall, is your disposition positive or is it negative? If you realize that your overall general disposition is negative, work like the Dickens to turn it positive. Keeping a positive mindset will transform how you approach things, how you maneuver through life, and it will absolutely make life so much better. I swear, when I go out with a positive mindset and I say I'm gonna have a great day, I'm gonna come across amazing people, it's like the day unfolds exactly like that. Have an attitude of gratitude, and there is always something to be grateful for. You can be grateful for the legs that you have so you can walk places. You can be grateful for the eyes that you have so you can see your children and your family. You can be grateful for the house that you have that keeps you warm. And I read something recently that said that gratitude and anxiety cannot exist at the same time. So if you are actively practicing gratitude, it will melt away those anxious feelings, those negative feelings, like it shuts them out. So maybe if this is difficult for you, you can set a reminder in your phone every hour or a couple times a day. Practice gratitude. Find something to be thankful for. It's as simple as that. Something that helps to keep me in a positive mindset is I watch or read something motivational every single day. I start my day on a positive note by meditating, and then sometime throughout the day, I might watch a YouTube video on something positive, a YouTube video on abundance. I'll listen to maybe a sermon in the car or something like that. I'm always inundating myself with positive things. And at night, I read some type of self-help book. I love to read an hour before bed. It just helps me to unwind. It gets my day ended on a positive note. So recently I just finished this book. It's called How Successful People Think by John C. Maxwell. I also just finished this one. It's called The 12-Week Year. I highly recommend this book too. This is a good book. So I'm just constantly reading and learning about things that will help to elevate me, to help me become the best version of myself. And even doing stuff like that, it helps expand your mind. It helps you to just be a more well-rounded person, because most people these days, they don't read. They don't actively work on their own self-development. So if you can do that, y'all, you are ahead of the game, okay? You are gonna stand out. Like, people are gonna take notice, because sometimes people will come around me that haven't seen me in a while and they're like, you are completely different. Your attitude is completely different. You're very vibrant now. Also, in the realm of keeping a positive mindset, take stock of the things that you are taking in. What are you watching on TV? What are you listening to? What type of music are you listening to? What type of things are you reading about? Are they mostly positive or are they mostly negative? If they're mostly negative, replace them with things that put you in a good mood, put you in a positive, lively, can-do mood. Increase your intake of things that will raise your vibration, not bring them down. Next tip is to eliminate or distance yourself from toxic people. One of the biggest downfalls in life is surrounding yourself with the wrong people. I know this all too well. I've done it myself. I've learned from it. I got the t-shirt. Toxicity is contagious, okay? If you hang around 5 negative people long enough, you're gonna become the 6th negative person, okay? It rubs off on you. Again, we all have days and times where we're not our best, when we might complain about this or that, or we go through something really bad, like a tough time. I'm not talking about that, okay? That is a part of life. I'm talking about the people where just being toxic and draining is their baseline. Y'all know the type of people that I'm talking about. You can get around them and you immediately just feel depleted. You immediately just feel tired or stressed or anxious. These are the type of people that it just seems like there's always something going on with them. There's always something wrong. There's always a crisis. There's always an issue. They always need your help. They always are asking for advice. They are constantly taking your emotional energy. Those are the type of people you need to distance yourself from, or if you can, completely cut them out of your life, because they're not going to help you elevate. They're not going to help you get to where you want to be. They're only going to hold you back and just leaving you feel like your cup is almost empty. Energy vampires is the term for these type of people. Sometimes we keep people around because we feel like we can help them. You know, we love them or their family, or we see the good in them, because nobody is all bad, right? We see potential in them, but you have to realize that you can't fix someone else's life. They have to want to make a change themselves. And when you're just pouring all of your emotional energy into them, and sometimes even financially, I've heard of situations where people have been giving money, trying to put band-aids on someone else's life for years to help them out, and they never get better. You cannot help someone like that. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you have someone in your life or people in your life where the phone rings and you pick it up and you see their name and you have to brace yourself, or you have to do a deep sigh, that's a clue that distance needs to be created between you and them, because they are sucking your energy. So you want to try to surround yourself with people who are inspiring, who are uplifting, who are generally positive people, and that will just make such a difference in the quality of your life as well. Next tip, very important tip, elevate your standards. This goes for every area of your life, okay? The food you eat, the places you go, the people you surround yourself with, the way you show up in the world, your appearance. When you elevate your standards, you're saying to yourself, and you're also saying to the world, that I deserve the best that life has to offer. Absolutely start with your home, your surroundings. Declutter your life, okay? Declutter your home. Make sure where you live is clean. And you don't have to live in a mansion or in like a very luxurious place. But if you are in a clean, tidy environment, it does so much for your mental clarity. When you have a bunch of crap around you, everything demands just a little bit of your attention. If you just have an overwhelming amount of stuff, it's like your brain is going haywire, okay? So first and foremost, declutter your house and your space, your surroundings and everything like that. Your surroundings can and do affect your mood. So important. I can't stress this enough. Make sure that you're on top of grooming. Make sure you're on top of your appearance. Again, you don't have to go out and buy expensive clothes. All you need to do is make sure you're clean. Make sure you have on clean clothes and that they look tidy and presentable. Just look like you care. That goes a long way with signaling how you feel about yourself, and that's gonna, in turn, it does, and this is just how the world works. How you look a lot of times influences how people treat you. So if you're going around dirty or sloppy, body, people are going to feel like you don't really care about yourself, and they're going to treat you like they don't care about you either. And just doing that can help you to feel more positive and also in turn be more productive. Clean up your diet, elevate the type of foods that you are eating. These low vibrational foods, fast food, junk food all the time. That used to be me, y'all. I used to eat fast food probably every day, if not every day, every other day. It was bad. I used to drink soda every day. I hardly drank water. I hardly ate vegetables. And it definitely had a huge effect on how I felt. And I think it's like kind of the chicken and the egg. You don't know which came first. Is it my mental that caused me to eat so poorly, or is it that I was eating so poorly and it caused me to not be at my highest mental capacity? I don't know. But y'all, when I changed to a plant-based diet, and I'm not saying that you have to do this, but just clean up your diet, eat more healthy. We all know what that entails. When I changed to a plant-based diet and I started eating more fruits and vegetables, drinking water, and just really being intentional about the foods I was eating, it was like the brain fog disappeared. I felt like I was more clear-headed. It was such a drastic change. I did mention how cleaning up my diet cured my insomnia, and that was something that I struggled with for years as well. Cleaning up your diet will make you feel lighter. It will make you feel just overall better. I swear. And then the places that you go, the type of surroundings that you frequent. When you're around like dilapidated places, or you go to like a hole in the wall all the time, it can kind of be depressing. So I have started, going to really nice restaurants. You can go to a really nice restaurant and get like the cheapest thing on the menu. If you don't have a lot of money, you can be in those places, and you have to tell yourself that you deserve to be in those places. And one day this will be your life if that's what you want. You can go to maybe the nice area of town, and you don't even have to buy anything. Just go and be surrounded by that. Be surrounded by people who are forward thinking and upwardly mobile, but just go to environments that make you feel good, that make you feel nourished inside, that inspire you. It really will light you up and give you a whole new perspective on life. When I started my career, my corporate career that I no longer have, I work for myself now, hallelujah. When I started my corporate career, I'm so thankful for it because it moved me. A condition of my employment was that I had to move to a different state, and just moving to a new environment with things that I had never seen before, places that I had never gone before. And I'm talking about like nice places, being around people who were pretty much twice my age, who were doing big things in life. It exposed me to a whole new world that I never even knew I could be in. You really, really need that in order to elevate in life. Surround yourself and go to places that make you want to reach higher, make you want to do more, and it will start to become a part of your everyday life. Like, this is the life that you actually live. Next tip is to set unshakable goals and shut up. I don't mean to tell y'all to shut up, but a lot of the time when people have goals, the way that they shoot themselves in the foot is they go blabbing about it to everybody that will listen. Y'all gotta stop that, okay? One of the reasons why I feel like I am where I am today, one of the big reasons why I feel like I am as successful as I am, is because I set goals and I don't tell anybody about them. I don't talk about them until it's done. It's a done deal. So you need to be unapologetically ambitious. Dream big. Do not play yourself small. Being goal-oriented and driven is a key component to living a fulfilled life. You feel like you always have something to reach for. You feel like you have a purpose. Figure out what you really want out of life and create a plan to accomplish those goals. But on the flip side, don't go around to every Tom, Dick, and Harry who has a lending ear and tell them about what you're planning to do, because that can really introduce a lot of chatter in your mind. It can really knock you off your square. It can cause you to lose focus. When you have a lot of opinions and you have a lot of people weighing in, if you truly need advice on something, go to someone that is already doing what you want to do. If you want to be a doctor, go interview doctors. If you want to start your own business, go to someone who actually has a successful business. Don't go telling your cousin Ronald, who lives on his mom's couch and who really hasn't done anything with his life. Don't go telling him, talking about it with him, because his mind is too small. You cannot talk big dreams with small minds. And sometimes people don't even mean to be negative or to discourage you, but they can't even fathom some of the things that you can think of and you can conceptualize, and they're working from a very limited worldview. But if you have big goals, you feel like everything and anything is possible, you have to go and take those goals, if you want to take them anywhere, to people who have big goals as well. And especially, like I found, with people who are always talking about what they're going to do, they usually are not getting very far in life. That's just the God honest truth. You gotta start going within, keeping things to yourself, being strategic about who you're telling things things too. And the benefit to this is you won't constantly feel the need to give people updates, and you won't have all this noise swaying you. So it helps that no one is influencing you by projecting doubt, and it just makes you more introspective. It makes you go within. It makes you more of a doer, I feel, because you're not just going around talking and telling everybody, well, should I do this? Should I do that? You make a decision, you stick with it, and you let it play out. Work hard in silence. Let your success be your noise. And my last tip is to love yourself. Truly, truly love yourself. Y'all, there are so many people in this world that don't love themselves. Half the people don't even like themselves. But if you can learn to love yourself, I swear, life will be like times 10. Whatever your life is right now, it will be times 10, okay? And this is the most important tip, because when you do this, all the other things, they kind of fall into place. Like when you love yourself, you are naturally motivated to being the best version of yourself. You're naturally committed to changing and growing. When you love yourself, you're naturally showing up a way that you want to be perceived in the world. When you love yourself, you are naturally setting boundaries, and you're not letting negative toxicity into your life. You're not allowing yourself to be used. And that goes a long way as well to just having a comfortable life, knowing that there is no one around you who has ulterior motives, no one around you who is just looking for what you can do for them. They're there because they truly care about you. That is an amazing feeling, y'all. And that happens when you love yourself, okay? When you love yourself, your standards, they naturally go up and up because you know that you deserve the best. When you love yourself, you have super big goals because you know that you are capable of achieving them. You won't have drama in your life because you know what you deserve. I live a life that is drama-free. Hallelujah. After all the drama that I've been through, I feel like I deserve this, okay? I live a life that is drama-free. Why? Because I love myself. I don't allow people in my life that will cause me drama. Self-love permeates every area of your life, and it makes you so just magnetic. It makes you so... what's the word? I don't know. It makes you that, okay? When you love yourself, that's already embodying a positive mindset, so you're less likely to be negative. Like all these things just fall into line when you have self-love. And a lot of people, they're like, well, I don't love myself. How do I love myself? Sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. Sometimes you gotta just look in the mirror and say, today I'm gonna show up as my best self. Today I am amazing. You have to rewrite the negative self-talk. Really take stock of how you're talking to yourself in your mind throughout the day. And if you see yourself saying, oh, I'm stupid, oh, I can't do this. When you notice that you are doing that internally, rewrite it and flip it. Oh, I'm stupid. No, no, no. No, that's the old program. I am intelligent. I will figure this out. Rewrite how you talk to yourself. Talk to yourself in a loving way. Talk to yourself how you would speak to a dear friend that you really care about. Talk to yourself like that. You will start to just feel so amazing. You will feel so much more confident. When you love yourself, you are accountable. You do what you say you're gonna do. You strive to be better every day. You are not a flaky person. You are not a negative person. And when you love yourself, you want others to love themselves as well, because you know how great of a feeling that is, and you know how much better life would be if everybody loved themselves. Like, this would be a utopia. If everyone loved themselves, it would be like slamming, okay? Just think of how much better life would be if you come into contact with people that actually loved and cared about themselves. So yeah, guys, that is how I changed my life, how I fixed my life, how I'm now just feeling so inspired, feeling so good about myself, feeling good about the world at large. And it's amazing, especially coming from a place where every day I would just wake up and try to get through the day. And it was just like life was drudging along. Life was doing me. I wasn't doing life. But now I feel like the world is my oyster. I can accomplish anything. It feels good to just be a more healthy person in this world. And I've done all this without ever taking any medication. I've done all this without going to therapy. And I'm not saying that those things don't work for some people. I just wanted to mention that just in case any of you had questions or were wondering whether those things may have played a role in my dramatic life change. No, that's not a part of my story. And I'm still a work in progress. My temper it's not as short as it used to be, but it can still be short. The difference now though is that I know how to manage it so much better. Before I would blow up. I would yell or I would just want to fight. But now it's like, okay, this made me angry or this made me irritated. Let me take a second, take a little time out and regroup. And I swear my turnaround on adjusting my mood is so quick now. Even somebody told me this yesterday because something had irritated me, but I corrected myself and it was just like, I flipped a switch. But yeah, I'm just so grateful for each day. I'm so thankful for life in general. It's so beautiful, especially when you can get over that hump to the other side and you realize just how precious it is to be here, just how amazing some people are. Like now I know like people are great. I'm still kind of, yo, my battery just died and I just charged this for like 2 minutes, so I'm gonna make this outro quick. But yeah, that is basically how I changed my life in a nutshell, to make a very long story short. So if you guys have any requests for future videos, leave them below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on my next one. Bye.